Hey, welcome back to the Hometown Hustle, and today's episode features the premier staging and home design team in Grants Pass. That's right, we're talking to Dwell House, but more specifically, Rebekah Nugent, who is the owner and founder of the company, plus the newest addition to her team, Nicolette. In this episode, we talk about home staging, the effects it can have on a sale, plus we also talk a lot about Bekah's history and where she finds her inspiration. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm wearing this robe, but you're going to have to watch to find out. Let's go. Bekah, Nicolette, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate that.
Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah. Real quick, for those who don't know you, Bekah, why don't you go first? Since you're the star of the show today, owner of Dwell House. Tell us who you are and tell us a little bit about your business, and we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, my name is Rebekah Nugent, and I own Dwell House, and it's here in Grants Pass, Oregon. And I went into business 3 years ago. Let's see, about exactly this time, April 2020. 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. When the whole world was opened up to new businesses, new ideas.
No idea. Yeah, for sure.
Really smart strategies.
Yeah.
And I saw a need. I was practicing real estate at the time, and my own clients, we couldn't go in the doors to any open houses. And so I was like, you know what? I have all this furniture. I was remodeling my house, so I'm going to just stage properties. And I had done it in Phoenix for 5 years prior to moving to Oregon, but always for my own listings, never for a business for somebody else. So I started staging them and spent a little more on photography, spent a little more on some different drone footage and different things that we weren't necessarily doing as often here in our marketing packages for realtors. And I just kind of saw the traction that was happening. I was like, oh gosh, I'm onto something. And I had done it before, but I kind of always thought Grants Pass wasn't ready for that commitment and that financial obligation of one more thing. And then it kind of, in very small incremental steps took off. Mm-hmm. And so it was pretty cool that the market was responding to us, and we were seeing houses that were same day going for multiple offers. And it kind of like solidified the fact that we're onto something. Mm-hmm. And then we started buying more furniture, and then a warehouse, and here we are 3 years later. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, like we talked.
That was a very long intro. Sorry.
No, not at all. That's not a long intro at all. I think that we were talking about before we got started. Staging was definitely something that was kind of just done sporadically in Grants Pass before, because I've been practicing here for almost 8 years now. Yeah. And never had really seen anybody do staging other than like, oh, I'm going to put like a little flower in the bathroom, or I'm going to put some placemats on a table in some, random room or whatever, a house that was clearly not furnished, but it has placemats on this random ass table in the kitchen. Like it was
but you got the vision from the placemats. The placemats gave you all the vision.
So, no, it was very much just like, oh, that's, it is what it is. So, but when you started doing it, for me, it was definitely like, oh, wow, that's really good. Like you changed the way houses look. I think the most recent example is like Kayla's house on Bull Creek.
Yeah.
Like Kayla's listing on Bull Creek.
It's a good.
I walked in there and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
God damn.
Like,
I think that's literally what he did.
It was legitimate. Like it was a good, and the cool thing about that one is you have this homeowner that's at their breaking point, because they had tenants that lived in there for lots of years, and they hadn't seen how dilapidated that house had gotten and how bad it had gotten. And so you think, and they lived in that house before, so it was their baby. It was their like little small farm that they owned, and you could see that it was cared for, but it had just been let go. And so when they saw it, they were like, how are we ever going to transfer? There's just no way. How are we ever going to get our house back? And it's cool to see yes, there's an investment, but that cost comes back to you. I would say at least 100%, 100 to 300% in your return of that investment.
Yeah. It's another question for that, but I have another question. I'm going to do that one later. But you're not just doing staging though. I mean, you like sodded their little front yard area. I mean, are you doing that kind of stuff too? I mean, is that part of your package? I mean, you're doing pretty much anything you need to do to make that house look.
Well, we're hustlers here at the Hometown Hustle.
At the Hometown Hustle.
We've got Nicolette's been very prepped in the hustle of the business that we are. We don't really know what we are some days, but people have events. They call us. We set it up. They have house remodeling projects. They call us. We set it up. We're kind of I would say project manager, coordinator. I'm almost this close to my GC when I can say I have my general contractor's license. Cool. But I will have that within like the month, and then we'll be able to take all these projects in house. So we'll be able to say our design team can do design builds. We can do kind of different things within that realm, but mostly all would be home staging, home design, and every now and again an event or like crazy setup, pop-up shop, that kind of thing. Yeah.
I think that's brilliant because it's clear that you're uber talented at it. Like you and your team just do an incrable job. Like I was floored when I walked into Bull Creek and like how good that one was. Yeah. I mean, you've done stuff for us. Like you did the thing on Starlight. You did Mary's house out in Phoenix. I mean, just every one of your projects, or you did the one on the river too, I think Solitude or something.
Solitude.
Yeah. Just every time I walk into one of your things, it's like I'm floored. And so I could totally see you doing like design and build, that kind of thing. And like pretty much like, this is my way of putting it, but like, hi, Bekah, I'm a homeowner and this is my shit house that I have that I want to sell. And it needs help. Yeah. What can you do for me?
100%.
But I could also see you doing stuff like, hey, like I just bought this house. I have no idea how to design it, but this is what I want. Will you come in and help me? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's
where we would like to be. We'd like to be in that position spot. We love on the sales side of real estate just because that's what I'm passionate about. But we're building a team and enough people that will be able to service people in all those different scenarios, because really it comes down to resources, but it also comes down to like our software. We've learned how to do project management, and we've learned something that's really robust for both the design side and the staging side. And a lot of times they don't have overlap. So it's been really fun to be able to kind of go all in and invest in, this is what we're going to do. Now let's figure out the processes to get there. Yeah. So we're still getting there.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. So you and I have known each other for a long time now.
Oh, yeah. So I feel about the same, maybe.
Yeah, it kind of started this about the same time.
I think it was about the same because I feel like you both worked at Club Northwest at the same years, right? Yeah. 2013, 14?
2013, November of 13, I moved up here.
You did? Okay.
Yeah. And so I started working there right away.
November of 13, yeah.
And I think you just moved to town just shortly after that, right? Or maybe just right around the same time?
Oh, maybe before that. I'm trying to think. Okay, I had lives as April 2013. And so it would have been, we moved here August 2013.
Yeah. So we
were just right at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. Yeah. Just real briefly, just tell us who you are personally, not so much Dwell House, but okay. So you're a mom and a wife, and
you got it. Yeah, you got it all. I'm a mom and a wife, and I've got 4 kids. My oldest is 16, and then I go 12 and 9 and 6, and they kind of rule my world in a good way and sometimes not so good. No, I'm kidding. They're awesome.
That's how everybody's kids are. Right? Yeah, for sure.
My husband's Matt, and we've been here in this community for 10 years, and we always anticipated leaving after 2. Our goal was like, let's pay off some debt. Let's live here for a little bit. And then we fell in love, and we were like, oh gosh, we can't leave. What do we tell our family? Grants Pass, Oregon, look at it on a map and, go down to like Medford and then go a little bit smaller. And that's where we're at. And at first they kind of were like, wait, you're going to stay there? Yeah. It felt a little difficult to tell family. And we just had a good gig. It just felt really right. And so now we're 10 years into it, and kids are loving it. They have good friends. They have good teachers. They have good community people that we love and we invest in, and they invest in us. It's kind of this awesome symbiotic relationship. I think that's a word. I'm pretty sure. Look it up.
You're totally a word.
I was
Yeah,
like,
absolutely a
close,
word.
something like that.
Yeah.
If I said it wrong.
Yeah.
right context.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Yeah. That's good timing, Nicolette. So
Yes, there she is.
There she is,
She's on the
Nicolette.
mic. Oops, I'm far away.
Nicolette, tell us who you are, and you're relatively new to Dwell House.
I am.
Yeah, but just tell us who you are, where you're from, why you're here in Grants Pass now.
Yeah, so I am also a mom recently. So we were living up in the Portland area, and all of my family and my fiance's family are down here. So we thought it would be a good time with our little one to come back and kind of make our roots down here and be close to grandparents and cousins and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the design world up in Portland, and when we decided to move down here, I started kind of stalking Instagram and figuring out how I was going to find design work down here.
In Grants Pass of all places. Yeah, for sure.
And I had found Dwell House and started stalking Bekah on
right.
Instagram and messaged her, and then messaged her again, and then reminded her a couple months later, hey, I'm here now. And
You know, I get so many of those dropped into my DMs that I just don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
So
Damn, Becca's DMs are blowing up. Doc Nugent, you better watch out, dog.
So we ended up meeting, and it just felt very organic and right. And my past is I worked for a company that's luxury window coverings and wall coverings, and I was in marketing. But I also realized, oh my gosh, I really love design, and I've got the eye for it, and they wanted me to help with all their photo shoots. And so it ended up and then I bought a house up there and designed that, and definitely everyone was like, you have the design eye, you have to get into this. Mm-hmm. And then Rejuvenation is a big company up there too. They do everything now. They're owned by Williams-Sonoma now, but they started with just antiques, and then now they do beautiful furniture and lampshades, lighting, all that stuff. And I was a design consultant there and loved the fact that you build relationships in it. You know, it's they're trusting you with their home. That's a big thing that they're going to live in and they're going to make memories in. And I just thought that was so cool to have that kind of a relationship and close knit ties with someone's house. Mm-hmm. And so when I came down here and saw that Bekah was doing just that, it's it's a one-stop shop for home design. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I want to be a part of this. I want to be in.
Yeah.
And so here I am.
Cool. That's awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, glad you can be here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Last minute notice, be here. You got it.
And your husband is a landscape architect, and he does all sorts of cool projects too. And he's new to the area, so it's kind of a cool little back pocket.
I'm the indoors.
Contact.
He's the outdoors.
Yeah. Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you got a little. Did he help with the sod, perhaps?
No, he didn't. But our go-to handyman did, and he's amazing at landscaping. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, that sod makes a huge difference.
Honestly, it was
instant grass.
Instant. It's yes, there's an investment there, but the mud pit walking into a house versus sod, it's just, and in some ways, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's pretty inexpensive too for what it is. I mean, it's getting more expensive, but as is everything else. But
as is everything else. Is right. Yeah.
So very cool. All right. Well, I'm going to go back to it so I don't forget.
Yeah.
So you were talking about return on investment. And that's always been one of my questions, or I clearly know that you do get your return on the investment, but I think that a lot of people struggle with, how do you quantify that exactly? I mean, is there studies that show how much staging does? I mean, is there data behind that? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. The National Association of Realtors does a lot of really good studies across nationwide of all of the staging projects and seeing how quickly they first of all, the days on market, and then secondly, what their sell prices are versus list price, and then third, just honestly, contingencies. If they have less contingencies or if they have less inspection issues. And so they have all this data, and they've comprised I want to say a report that basically shows you what staging can do for your house. Yeah. And it's pretty impactful, because it really is showing you not only will you get your return. So let's say the average staging job is about $5,000. So you invest in the furniture in the design, and sometimes there's some handyman stuff on there too. And so if you're investing $5,000, typically you're seeing at least $15,000 back on your either time on market or time on market and sales price.
Right.
So it's pretty significant.
Yeah. I mean, even in just my experience, like you take homes, maybe not even necessarily staged, but homes that are well decorated versus homes that aren't as well decorated. Like the difference is astronomical in the type of buyer you attract.
Absolutely.
It's astronomical in the type of like escrow you have, just in terms of like repairs and things like that. Because if a house just looks presentable, like a vacant house and a house that's looks presentable, like they could have the exact same repairs that they need. But I just feel like people are more likely to move forward with something that looks good and feels good than something that doesn't, and that they're less likely to be concerned with those repairs. Is that kind of what you're?
Yeah. So you make an emotional connection to anything, right? That's why you go into a retail store and you're like choosing those pants because you're like, those, I'm going to look really rad in those pants. I'm going to like own those pants. And I know that if I buy those pants, if I buy those pants from Costco, Robin, if I buy those Costco pants, I will look so much better and feel so much better in them. The same thing.
Costco pants?
Yeah, that's right. No, I'm kidding. I threw that in there. I hope you got that. No, for the price, yes. Costco pants won't give you that wow factor.
Robin wears Prana, okay?
Oh, yeah. And those Prana's like cozy. Viori's like
so
Viori's like, yeah, that's better. But the point is like your house buying process is kind of the same thing, right? If you can make that emotional connection, if you can kind of get your buyer to feel those feelings of like, my lifestyle's going to be better in this house. And like, it's a hopefulness. It's like this, if I live in this house, I'm going to all of a sudden have chickens, and I'm going to have that garden that I always wanted. And I'm going to have this lifestyle that this house creates for me. And that's what we're kind of trying to tie. We're trying to look at the qualities that house already has. So it's X, Y, Z. These are the qualities it already has. We're going to highlight those and find the buyer that fits those the best.
Yep, perfect.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I dig it. I would imagine too, that in our changing market, when things are starting to show that their days on market longer and that there's not as many buyers, that your services are going to become more and more important. Do you kind of feel that also? Like,
yeah, I mean, our phone's ringing off the hook. I feel like we had a really busy season last year too, because people just wanted to bump up their sales price if they could a little bit more. You know, they kind of were like, oh gosh, well, if I can get a little higher, then I will by staging. But this year's a different strategy altogether. I think realtors, no offense.
Hey, we bash realtors all the time on this show, so let it happen.
I'm just saying, everyone, including myself, we all benefited from a very, very aggressive market that we barely had to wake up and answer our phone to get paid. And now it's different. We're learning that we have to market differently, and that we have to brand ourselves, and that we have to be a little more strategic with all of the things that we do within this realm in order to be really successful. And I think the benefit of this stage of growth is you're going to see a lot of realtors that are like, I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, it's harder to make a paycheck. It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But then you're going to also see the ones that grow from it, really get good at their craft.
Yeah.
I think that's where too, like, social media has, since COVID started with interior design, home design specifically, has like skyrocketed.
I think so too.
And I think that's where like the realtors can use it as a marketing tool with staging, you know, and use those photos and that good vibe of a staged house to market themselves as a realtor.
100%.
Indeed. There have been times in the past where I feel like I've gotten, and I'm not trying to like boast, but I feel like I've gotten pretty lucky with having like some really nice listings in the past.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, and it's been good, and I've really tried to take advantage of that when I do have them, because it's those kind of people, if they're looking, if they're watching, if they're paying attention, they see your stuff and they see that how it looks, and they're like, oh, I want that person because they're going to make my house look like that.
100%.
Like, that's how you build a high clientele, or like a good clientele of business. It's like you have to be able to market those things. You have to be able to show people that this is what you're capable of. Yeah. And and that's a piece to it. So
yeah, and social media is taking off now. It's a huge part of it.
Yeah. And I think there's a big market in this area to use it more. You know?
Absolutely.
Right. There's a period for growth for sure.
Yeah, you see other markets like really taking advantage of it, and there's not very many people that are doing it currently.
Yeah.
Like
The ones that do it though here are doing it well, and so you do see that it's almost benefiting them. Like there's probably a handful of I feel like brokers that do just a really good job engaging with their sphere and making sure that they're out there, and even if it's just like, hi, this is who I am, I feel like it's very authentic and it makes people get to know them.
in my opinion, that's all it needs to be.
All it needs to be.
It's like, this is me.
Yeah, because
you
you're selling yourself really in real estate. Like I'm selling design. I'm just selling a little bit of like the process and the behind the scenes. But you guys are selling, hey, I'm the person to work with.
Back to it being a relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely a relationship business. And real estate is not just, I'm going to show up and stick a sign in the ground we're just going to pray somebody sells it. Like it's a concierge service, in my opinion.
What did you used to call it? There's like the
Oh yeah, it is a total concierge.
The 3 P's of real estate.
P's of real estate. Yep.
Okay, let's hear.
We're going to sign the paperwork.
Okay, paperwork.
We put the sign in the ground. And we're going to pray somebody sells it.
Yeah. There you go. I like that. I like that strategy. That's good. That's working.
It doesn't work.
I don't know why.
Not anymore. It's
not
just
anymore.
with the way of the internet and the way. People don't hire real estate brokers to find them a house anymore. Like people look on Zillow.
Yeah, and they just send you the houses that they want
send you the houses. Yeah. It's not like I'm going to work with this person because they're going to find me a house. No, you're not. You're going to find the house.
Yeah.
Like you may get lucky every once in a while. Like we have an advantage, I think, in a big office because we have team meetings every Tuesday.
Well,
and
so you see a lot of inventory that's not on the market.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
But but I personally, I don't share a lot of that stuff in advance because I think personally that your best option is to put the house onto the market, not to sell it as a pocket listing in your office.
Interesting, yeah.
Right. Like I really think
probably.
if
Open
you want to
market's
know
good.
true market value on your house, you have to let the buyers talk about it. Like you have to
Right.
put it out into the world.
Yeah.
Buyers have to look at it and they need to decide what it's worth. Not that
Right.
one person, because that one person could come in and be like, "Oh, I'll pay full price." And be like, "Oh man, that's awesome."
Right.
But there may be 3 other people out there that are going to pay more and they're going to
Right.
pay cash or they're going to do whatever. You just don't know.
Right.
So I just feel like I don't like telling the whole office about it. Like I'd rather go out onto the market.
Right.
And then obviously like you're talking about, you get the opportunity to market it.
Yeah,
You know?
and that's another thing too,
Right.
is all those phone calls to different realtors and the back and forth and people seeing it's good to be able to have your vision and who you are out there.
Yeah. You don't want to be a secret agent for
No,
sure.
no.
It's not a thing.
Not in this text context. No.
No.
No secret agent.
No secret agents. No, you definitely want to be out
Nicolette's
there.
talking like this again, so it makes me think that secret agent, huh? Is that right? Code word for something else?
Code words for something else. No, not at all. But no, it's a concierge service. It's I really feel like it's one of the questions that I asked in here, and I'll ask you also. But like what it takes to be a good real estate broker now is to be able to guide your client from the start to finish and beyond with all the stuff and be 2 or 3 steps ahead of the process and know what's happening. And so you can prepare your clients and you can keep your clients stressed down. Like there's a whole thing about that. It's not just like, show up and sign here. And I think any jerk can do that.
Right.
Or any asshole is what I said the other day when we were talking about this. I think, seriously, it's like, you can read the contract.
Yeah. Yeah,
but like
that's not the part that's not ever the part.
If you know what buyers are thinking, if you can anticipate what they're going to ask for or how they're going to ask for it, and you can if you can prepare your clients in that regard and minimize stress, you're just going to do a way better job. So it is very much a service-based business, in my opinion, instead of a sales-based. I mean, we sell ourselves, which I've told people before. I'm not a whore, people. But yeah, so back to that thing in Vegas that Robin and I were doing.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, no, but since we're talking about that, what, in your opinion, makes a good real estate broker? Because I think, and I'm curious to know also, because I think everybody has different opinions on what it is. Because my opinion of what it is may be different than yours. Not that either one of us are wrong, but it's just different. And I think everybody's different in and how they feel about it and what they want, right? Yeah. So I'd love to hear, because you've been a real estate broker or in the real estate business for 16 years. Is that right?
Yeah, I've been a broker for 16 years and started in Chicago and then Arizona, and was licensed there for 5 years and then came here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And your
Lots of
mom's
different market.
and your mom's a real estate
My
investor. and all
mom
that kind of
is
stuff?
like, she is freaking a badass.
Mm-hmm.
Like my mom is like my hero. Really, she's cool. She's has her license in Hawaii and California and Utah, and has bought like 50 rental homes that she manages from California, but lives.
Cool.
She lives in California. They're all in Utah, and they've all now increased in value like crazy because she bought them in good locations and in the 80s when
Of course.
housing prices were crap. And she was a teacher,
Yeah.
and she did this all part time while raising 6 kids.
Wow.
So how she did it, I don't even know. Like I can't even keep my shoes tied most days. But
Speaking
really,
of that, my shoe actually is untied.
there you go. See,
It is literally untied.
there you go.
This whole time I've been fidgeting with my foot, trying to keep my shoe on my
Keep
foot.
your shoe on. You're
Yeah.
like, I'm tying it. I'm tying it.
Anyway, so back to this real estate stuff. What makes a good real estate broker, especially one that can tie their shoes?
Yes.
For sure.
Come with your shoes on.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's different for each person because each person is so different. But I do feel like, in general, it's being a good listener and figuring out what their wants are. But also, it's a psychological mind game. It's like you're trying to figure out what they want. They're saying one thing, and then they're really wanting something totally different. And then their husband walks in the room, and they want something really different. So there's a therapist role, there's a psychologist role, there's a salesperson role, there's the negotiating part
Babysitter,
where and half the
counselor.
time I am babysitting kids, or like, here, I'll take your kids, go look at the house. Like, I feel like there's a lot of different things that it comes, and honestly, it's partly why I don't practice it anymore. It's just because you have to wear so many hats, and you have to be available pretty much all the time for clients. And that's the piece that kind of is tricky when you're not wanting to be that invested in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes total
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
But I really feel like that's just being available and answering questions, and sometimes 2 steps ahead. And sometimes it's like, oh, okay, let me put out this fire and let me figure out what I need to negotiate. Because I think a lot of it is like figuring out what are you really saying you want, and what is the seller really saying they want, especially
what can you
right now too, because there's so many things that are coming up on inspections, and so much sellers still think it's a seller's market. They haven't quite gotten on the bandwagon that it's not quite. And yeah, I think there's some confusion that way.
Yeah, a lot of the negotiation stuff is, like you're saying, it's
Falling
just
out of contract, really.
managing personalities.
Yeah, right.
Just you're trying to manage your client's personality, whether it's a buyer or a seller.
Yeah.
And you're also trying to negotiate or manage the personality of the other real estate broker, which can
Right.
be a huge challenge, which is probably
Yeah.
the worst part about this job, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah, well, especially if you can't get a hold of them, or if they're not,
yeah, or they're just jerks.
Yeah,
like
that's
it's
right.
there's just
I've had a few of those too here.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been a little jerky in my day.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Come on, Bekah. You did a good job pretending like you didn't know.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about a personal real estate transaction that we were on?
Did we do a personal real
Yeah,
estate
we
transaction?
did. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
I don't know if I was
You
real
weren't
jerky about
no,
that one.
You weren't
No,
at all.
no.
Yeah, I was like, that's why I was like second guessing. No, you weren't. You were great.
No, I actually felt really bad about that one.
Well, you shouldn't have. It's a great house. It's a cute house.
You really did a good job on that
Yeah,
one
that
too.
was a fun one. That was really fun.
Yeah, that was an interesting situation too, because the sellers were in a really tight spot, and
yeah.
I just felt really bad because I felt bad for them, and I felt bad for you because I didn't feel like you guys needed to do what you did, and we don't need to get into details, but
the cool thing about that is we were already invested, and we already knew it was the right house. It felt right.
yeah,
And so kids were excited. Everyone was excited. So, and sometimes you you have to take a step back. And as a buyer, this is a good lesson. If you are already invested emotionally, but you've already thought through floor plan, you've already thought through what you're going to make the house into, and then something happens and it's a hurdle, sometimes starting the process all over again is actually going to be more money than just paying the extra inspection item or paying whatever it is, and just finalizing the process.
yeah.
It feels like a big amount at the time, but it's really not. It's just
It's a small blip.
Add it to the
it's a
bottom
small
line.
blip in
Yeah.
time.
Right.
It's a small chunk out of your wallet.
Right.
Like I've always said this, and I've always felt it. Like money comes around. Like it's just like the extra $1,000 that you're going to spend here is not going to ruin your life or whatever it is. Like people just
not
like
on that front end. No.
yeah, it's just not. So it may feel a little hard at first, but it's going to go away. Like you're going to deal with it. People, we're humans. We survive. That's what we
Right.
do. So you're
And
going to
what
live.
is the timing of that house? I go to sell it 2 years later, right? Was it 2 years? I'm pretty sure. And the market was crazy. I didn't even list it. It was phone ringing off the hook. When
Yep.
are you listing it? When are you listing it? I'm like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, that was a really cool house. And that was,
Cute house.
yeah, and you did a really good job with it. And you were right in the middle of remodeling your main house when you were doing that house
Yeah.
too. So you were so you remodeled an investment property that you intended on living in while you remodeled your principal residence.
Yeah.
Which is, again, Bekah is like one of the
It's
most
rad.
beautiful things I've ever seen.
I need you guys to come over. We need to do like, we could do
A follow up.
yeah, right. We could do like a little broker social.
A broker social at your
That'd
house.
be cool.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah,
I'm
that'd be
down.
rad.
You
Good
know,
marketing for
that's
us.
actually a brilliant idea.
I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea, right?
like an open house for
Yeah.
Dwell House.
Right,
Like invite all the
totally.
real estate brokers,
Yeah.
come and check. This
I
is
think
what we
it'd be
can do.
rad.
Have
Yeah.
Danny go too?
We can't do
What's that?
this.
Have Danny
'cause-
go too?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you have somebody film
Totally.
it?
I
Yeah.
think that'd be really cool. Yeah, let's do it. Let's put it on the calendar. Let's do it. Spring's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the perfect house for it.
Right. We had a huge house party huge. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing anymore. I feel like Halloween, we had a big house party.
Yeah.
It was like where our whole front yard was a haunted house. And I just kind of thought it would end there. And then all of a sudden we started inviting people inside. And it was like, I think 350 people inside.
Wow.
No shit.
It was insane. I wasn't necessarily planned that way. It was a lot of kids, a lot of adults, a lot of people I didn't know, but it was a little bit crazy.
That's what happens in college when you like tell your friends about a
It-
party and
it
they tell
felt
their
like
friends.
that.
And it's just
It
like,
felt
oh my
like
God,
it's
where did all
like,
these
who's
people come
bringing
from?
the keg?
Where'd the
Who
keg
drove
come
to
from?
Wyoming
Yeah.
and picked up the keg. No, growing up in Utah, you had to drive to Wyoming across the border
To get a keg?
to get a
Keg,
keg.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy, huh?
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah.
No, but I think that's a brilliant idea. What a great way
Yeah.
to like grow your business
That would
and
be a good
like
idea.
show real estate
Yeah.
brokers what you're capable
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We'll have to put it on our calendar. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A party at Bekah's house.
That's right. You're all
Right.
invited. You
Yeah.
heard that. Heard it here.
We only have 210 subscribers on YouTube, so
Hey, see, that's less
know
than
you
our
can fit at
first
least
house
300,
party.
so.
So there you go.
no, that's really cool. Sorry for the interruption. Just wanted to remind you that if you're enjoying the podcast, please hit that like, subscribe, and notification button. It is the best way to support the channel, and without your support, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you, and let's get back to it. All right, Nicolette, your turn. What do you got? What is your favorite part about staging a home and all the design stuff? Like, I can imagine it's probably like, you know, watching it transform or seeing the finishing result. Or I mean, what's like your passion behind it? Like, why do you like it so much?
I think just going back to like what your home is, you know, and finding the personality within you and then being able to like mimic that in your house and like what you want to be surrounded by and the vibe of what you're presenting as your home. You know, it's a piece of you. It's a big piece of you and your family and what you stand for. And, you know, I think that's what's cool about staging a house is that people that don't have that design eye are able to come in and see a vision rather than it being empty and you're coming in and you're just looking at an empty house and you're like, oh God, what do I do with all this? Seeing it staged and seeing it be like, oh wow, like that's where the kids could play in the, you know, playroom, and this is where my desk is, this is where the desk is, and it looks great there. I'd keep it there, you know, and having the vision to be able to see all those things with a staged property, I think is invaluable.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are so detailed too, which I think is one of the things that I really appreciate about what you do also. Like the little spray bottles
Oh, right.
on like the dining room
Right.
table that have the Dwell House logo on them.
Right.
You know, like
We're coming.
you can ask Robin, like I am very in tune with like small details.
Yeah.
And so like it's easy for somebody to just walk in and be like, wow, this is beautiful. But like all those little small things too are really cool. And like, and that just shows how much care, I think, how much care you put into it is because you care about all those little details also.
You're touching on all the senses.
Yeah,
You know,
right. 'Cause
literally.
it literally is like part of our proposal shows like the different things that require you to tackle ahead of time in order to get right to make that emotional connection. And so it is. It's like it's the way things sound. It's the way things smell. It's all of those things, feel, textures on beds, and all of that stuff plays into somebody's connection. So it's kind of like there's a psychology behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Pretty neat. I love it.
So speaking of products,
Okay.
Dwell products, are you ready for yours?
Please.
Okay, will you guys wear them? If I give you something, will you wear them? You have to commit to them first. Commit, or they don't come out. I'll give you the easier things first.
She mentioned our imaginary time as strippers in Vegas. So all I can imagine is you pulling out like a Dwell House banana hammock, and I'm just like,
there is a cute little blanket for your next staging chair. You can use.
I love this. Are you giving this to me?
Yes, I am. I have like a little I already said that the bag needed to be reshaped. I didn't quite get to that point, but this is a fun little. When we got started, there's this too. When we got started, we got started because we really wanted to bring community together, and we were
Don't touch.
It has your name on it.
missing. Does it?
Yes, it's H.
Robin says it got my name on it.
That's right. I didn't plan that. That was pretty good though. But we got started. In doing this whole business because we were missing community. We were missing having an outlet and getting people together. And so we started having classes and different things. But this was kind of our thing, as we will hold each other up during that time. But then also you two have been instrumental in my life by doing this. Both of you have kind of been there at like hard times for me and been my cheerleaders. And Robin was my sensei. If we took it to the boxing ring, he's an amazing coach.
He's a warrior.
Yeah. But these guys.
She rung my bell
Was that when you were pregnant?
So no, this was when Livs was little. Yeah. So when she was a baby.
Are these shot glasses?
Yeah, those aren't those cool?
Add them to the shelf.
Yeah, right. I know. It's like I think they need to go on that shelf that you guys display things on. Aren't those pretty rad? They're like a little.
He's telling me to put them
They're
up.
for mezcal, FYI.
He'll
So if you like tequila, those are like a little.
I think what we should do
little
is
marbleized.
I love this.
Yeah.
I think that we should have Nicolette and Bekah like rearrange the room.
Oh no, I think it actually looks really good in here.
Okay.
I was thinking that way.
Yeah, I loved it. I even loved down to the headphones. Like these are rad. Wherever you guys got those little side.
Yeah, I got those at Home Goods, I think.
No, those are rad. Those
or
are super cool.
they're maybe it was what's that place in.
Okay, the rest is just alcohol in here because I had no idea you had such provisions here already. So
no,
I
we
literally
can always add to more provisions.
Alcohol. But then the
Awesome.
last but not least.
Cool.
Last but not least.
Oh, is this
for
what
you?
this is what you wanted us to wear?
Sights and smells, sounds. You ready?
As long as it's not a banana hammock, we're good.
Brand new. We're gonna have like some products, and it's the same
so
company
good.
that does our towels and our linens. We're now gonna have robes, and these are our first new right from the package.
Are we putting them on now?
Oh yeah, you are. They're like men's robes. It's like a towel. But lighter, so you can like wear it around the house when you don't want to like put on clothes. I mean, I feel like it's got a little.
When I don't want to put on clothes.
Let's think. Yes. Who just died? Hugh Hefner. You've got a little Hugh over there.
A little Hugh Hefner.
Vibes going on. Would need to be velvet.
Who needs a banana hammock when you can have a Hugh Hefner robe?
Hugh Hefner robe. It's way more comfortable, right?
You know how comfortable it is.
Yes, he does. You've never worn a banana hammock? Well, there you go. You know, maybe he didn't have any Vegas days after all. Isn't that great? And it's so cozy. And then you wash it more, and it gets more comfy. I feel like you look like you're kind of the same outfit you normally.
Where every Thursday, Robin usually wears a kimono. So.
Oh, do you really? No. I just believed it. It sounded very believable. Very believable.
Oh my gosh!
I do have a samurai sword.
There you go.
Oh, you guys are such
We're
good
gonna
sports.
have to take a picture of that afterwards for us. Yeah. See, there you can have that in your hair. You could have your towel.
You each can hold
I think it's a blanket, but I'm not sure.
One part of the side.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, look at that. Well, right here, sweat from the sweat lodge right to your house.
At Club
Bifano
Northwest
home team, baby.
at Club Northwest.
You guys were at the Club Northwest men's bathroom, weren't you? Just kidding.
What? Wait.
No, I'm kidding. Matt likes to steam there. That's all I'm saying. Is he does enjoy a good steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good steam
You didn't
test.
build a steam room in your
we
house?
do. We have it.
Yeah,
And we use it now. But he used to steam.
Yeah.
And then he said he would be in there and have chats with just different people. They would be the same crew that would have your steam room chat.
Yeah.
So that's why I was making fun of that.
No thanks.
Club
This
Northwest
smells terrific, though.
It does.
I really like
That
it.
is our spray, but I didn't have it in new bottles for you, but I will bring you some.
Well, all right. Is that somebody that makes it locally for you?
Yeah, she's awesome. So
Yeah.
she's actually Maggie Lowry. Do you know who that is?
No, I don't.
Well, the Lowry's Lowry is a fishing guide, and Jake and Maggie are landlords at the Williams Highway property. So they own it, and she does all these really cool products, and everything is it's called Soul Blends. You've probably seen them, maybe
Probably,
in
yeah.
real estate baskets or anything. She does all sorts of balms and all sorts of like scrubs and everything, but she's private labeled all of our products. So we got to hand pick like what scents we wanted, and she formulated them in all organic material, just really cool products. So yeah, it's fun to support her business and then also to support our branding. So yeah, pretty
it's
cool.
awesome. Yeah, your branding
And
is so
she'll
cool.
do it for she did it for the Flying Lark, like a whole series of like wooden boxes with really cool products inside. And then she shipped them all out to their clients. So just cool stuff that she does. So if you ever need something like that for branding, she's really cool.
Yeah,
Or
you'll
private
have to get me
labeling.
connected with her.
Yeah,
so,
I will.
Yeah.
She's rad. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe she'd be a good person for a future podcast.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Her and Jake. Jake's rad too.
Yeah, fishing guide. We need a fishing guide. We haven't had a fishing guide. That's
Yeah.
like a thing.
Yeah.
Fishing is such a thing around here.
There's
So
like 6 of them that I know of.
6 of them. I
Except
think
that
there's a lot
keep
more than
following
that.
them.
but-
Well, yeah, but 6 that I know of that I follow on Instagram that I keep saying, okay, I'm going to book with them. I'm going to finally go fishing. I still have yet to go fishing on the road.
Really? How is that possible?
I know. It's weird. I've never been rafting
No-
down the
no
road either.
rafting?
No, it's so dumb. I've been.
I don't think
We
I
should
either.
have a team building thing this summer
yeah, we
and
are.
go rafting together.
Yeah, I go to the lakes a lot, but not somehow the river. I don't know.
All the concerts and all the things that
I
you go
know.
to, and you've
So
never
weird.
been out on the river.
No, it's the weirdest thing.
10 years?
Yeah, 10 years. I've said every summer, this is the summer. This is the summer. Never, somehow, it's not the summer.
Well, your kids are all at an age now where it could be fun to go out with them.
Yeah. We normally go to the lake. If we have a day off, we all just go to boating. But yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
River rats.
All right. You got any questions, Lasky? Because I got one. I was waiting for you.
I mean, I would like to talk more about how awesome that Bekah was when we were back in our karate days. And
That's right.
we actually there's a point in the martial arts training where you get to a point and it's like, okay, it's time to put the gloves on and fight. And she just like, all right, let's go. And she got in that ring and knocked the shit out of me. like I remember I kicked her pretty hard and she just
You
took
did.
it and like it came she was wearing like a heart rate monitor, like knocked it right off and she just like plowed right through it back into me and like just came in swinging, rung my bell hard. It was super impressive. Like you just wouldn't have thought it because she's so sweet and so nice. And she got in that ring and she was just a beast.
You see kind of that side of me when I'm negotiating on
Yeah.
clients' behalf, and that side kind of comes out. You've probably seen it.
You
a time or
roundhouse
two.
kick people when you...
I try not to.
Maybe you can start using
I have a
that.
mad roundhouse, though. I will say my hips aren't
we allowed
quite
to
the
do that?
same. Dang it,
Like,
they're not. They don't.
No.
They don't roundhouse as good as they used to.
Not after 4 babies, I would imagine.
No, I mean that was 3 babies, and I still felt like I got my roundhouse down, but I like slipped a disc and did all sorts of things, and now that it's like,
Yeah.
not quite the same. Yeah, I keep trying to find a Lasky replacement, but there's nobody in town that does what you do.
Nope.
Dang it.
Nope. Sensei
Kickboxing
Lasky.
Sensei. You can go to Medford,
I know.
but not
Well,
here.
people keep asking for it to come back, but
You're like, no.
yeah, Jesse said we could have our old spot back too. But
And?
I don't have time. For
Yeah,
that.
no, you don't. Absolutely not. Absolutely,
He absolutely
not.
does not have time.
Dang it. Where's one of your proteges? Get them in there.
I have one, but he's not into it. So
He's not into it. Dang it.
Griffin?
McKenna.
Oh, McKenna.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
Mac Blair.
Yeah.
You could do it.
Yeah.
That's a funny story about Mac, too. Is Robin asked me to come in and spar with Mac once.
Oh yeah.
Well, actually, I asked him to come in and spar with
Stephanie.
with your client Stephanie, who was
Yeah.
training with me, and
Yeah.
then Mac was
Do
there.
I know Stephanie? Is it Stephanie? Same Stephanie? Colorful hair sometimes, like no, different. Okay, go on.
She doesn't live here anymore, but
Okay.
her dad still goes to the club a lot.
Oh, I know exactly what Stephanie you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
She was a great client.
Yeah,
he
she's
was
rad.
supposed to be sparring with her, and then after he got done beating her up,
You make it sound so bad.
Mac was like, I want to fight him too.
Dude, I've not done a lot of sparring. I mean, I've done a lot of just training, bag work and, but not sparring in general. And so when they asked me to do this, I was just like, okay, I'm not going to beat her up, and I didn't I didn't make it easy on her, but I also didn't just pummel her either. Yeah. And she did good. And then she did really good. And then Matt gets in there and Robin's like, all right, well, no straight shots, the
rules. He's like, hey, protect yourself. There's no straight punches to the face. Just don't punch each other in the face.
Yeah. First one, we just let that up and it was what? And I just head snap back the whole thing, and I'm like, oh my God, Daniel.
His parents were in the audience. I'm
like, what are you doing? Oh no! Totally, just a nice stiff jab right to the face, and it totally snapped his head back too. And I didn't even. I felt so bad.
It wasn't his first time, so it was fine.
Yeah, I mean, he wore it great. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't like I knocked him down. Yeah, right. But it just I felt bad because his head snapped. It was just I was just like, oh my God. Yeah. Anyway, but that was Mac is a much better fighter than I am. I was at that time and still am twice his size, and so he couldn't even get close to me. So even if he did get his hands on me, it was just it's just not fair. Yeah. So
he was 14 or something.
Yeah. And I was in the peak of my physical condition, which was not great. But still, I'm just a grown man. 26, 27 years old, or 28, I guess it would have been at that time. But.
Good years. Those were good.
Yeah, right.
Peak physical condition, like I was some freaking stud.
Cyborg or something.
Yeah, no, not even close. Not even close.
You felt like you were though. So that's the important thing.
Yeah, what's funny is I probably act like I was too. Yeah,
you did.
Yeah, I was just arrogant
prick.
Hey,
here's the deal though. Yeah. I feel like. I saw something you posted recently that said something about being humble. What's your
confidence and humility?
Confidence and humility. Yeah. What did you say? Check your ego at the door.
That's right.
It's so you've learned. I feel like you've learned from your.
You either be humble or you get humbled.
Yeah, and I think that's such good advice, and it keeps kind of coming back in my life. It doesn't matter how old you are, you keep remembering that. Absolutely. Okay, yeah, that's right. I learned a lot from that one. I learned a lot from that failure. And that none of us are too big for failure either, Yeah,
that's that confidence and humility thing. It's we believe in operating with a high degree of confidence because our clients rely on us to have confidence in what we're doing. Yeah, right. And then at the same time, with enough humility to know our limitations, know what our weaknesses are, what we can get better at, and not just walk around broad-shouldered and chest bowed out we're hot shit because you walk in and some new real estate broker is just going to steal your listing one of these days. I mean that's a piece to it, and I'm not worried about that so to speak, but it's just I think that the whole arrogance thing. I got humbled quite a bit when I was in college with my whole baseball career and stuff like that, and I think that when I was at the club or all that kind of stuff, I think it's just when people are walking around arrogant and cocky like that, it's all a fraud, I think it's
our own insecurities kind of show up, right? It's we kind of mask it sometimes when we are any of us. If we are having to fake confidence, sometimes it's just because we're hurting inside.
Yeah. It was a smoke screen for sure.
Yeah.
Not a lot of self-worth back then,
Are you talking about you?
Absolutely.
Whatever. You were not, I was kidding you. You were not that at all. I kid you not. You were a wonderful trainer. I wouldn't have kept you I swear you were my trainer for a year and a half. I wouldn't have had that if I didn't think you were awesome. You were so confidence building and so wonderful. You were preparing then for what you are doing now in your career, and you were good at it then. So don't act like you were some tool.
I understand. I had toolish moments.
Well, yes, I could give you. I could give you the handful of times where I remember exactly what you said, but those will stick with me in my back pocket.
And I told you coming into this that those were fair game if you wanted to talk about them. Yeah, no, it's you have
talk about them.
Yeah, I don't actually remember saying what I said, but it doesn't sound like something I wouldn't say. It may have been something that I said.
You have always been really good at. I think that's your gift now with your group and your team. You are good about making people feel like they can do hard things, and you're really good at empowering people. you infuse self-confidence in people. And I think that is huge. And I can see it in your own team that you're building and just the way that you'll almost self-deprecate yourself sometimes to like make that, oh, I'm not good at this, but
Damn
Robin.
Is it that obvious?
Robin, he is so consistent and he's so this and Robin's so this. And it's like, it's a neat quality to watch you grow up, to be honest, and just see all of those.
And look at you now in your robe. Look at you.
Yeah, in my.
You've arrived.
Yeah.
You've arrived, Rocky. You've arrived.
No,
Full circle moment.
No,
Full circle
a
moment.
lot. I really appreciate that. It means
I'm
a lot.
serious.
Yeah,
I'm dead serious. Like
I do appreciate that. It's a constant work in progress, and I hope that people can realize that everyone always has work to do.
Oh yeah,
And there's
we all do.
Yeah, and what you're saying is that I think the only reason people can't do hard things is because they don't think they can. So it's in Robin's case, he came into real estate with no experience, and he's one of the top performing real estate brokers in the area at this point. Like it's just
That's right.
But he's put in the work,
Yeah.
and he's never felt like he couldn't do it. Like he's always put in the work and done all that kind of stuff. And so I hope that I can align myself with people like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the goal. And I'm lucky to have the people that I have around me because they all live the way that I'd like to live and all that kind of stuff. Like it's just, I get just as much from them as maybe they get from me. So it's all good.
That's really huge. That's an important part of your team dynamic. So what are you thinking are the things that cause you to be, what things have allowed you to be like the top of your game, would you say?
I mean, it's definitely the tools and the people you surround yourself with. Like I've been given every opportunity, and so I took every opportunity.
Yeah.
And so I think that helps a lot. Having a mentor that works well, having having Tiffany as a principal broker that's there for us.
She is amazing.
And other amazing agents that
She
are in
really
the building.
is so empowering.
Having all the training and supplies, and I mean, a lot of people have a lot of things, but they just don't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
I just take full advantage of
Good.
everything, and then he, has always got my back and supporting me. And I go into his office back and forth, like I just pace back and forth because like, hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with this? Can you do this?
Good.
And he's always
You
available.
were burning a hole in the carpet today for sure.
You ask a ton of questions and you get curious.
Well, it's like I'll look at something, and I, for the most part, I can understand most of it, but I'll look at, the counter offer, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, I have no idea what this is saying. Like, like it doesn't make any sense
this
to.
speaks a different language sometimes.
And and he can translate it.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Not every time, mostly.
Sometimes we just need to talk it through.
Yeah.
Together. So it's I think that's one of the most underutilized things that in real estate is people are often like, oh, real estate's such a great job because you have so much flexibility. You can work from home, and you can work while you're traveling, and you can work wherever you want. You don't have to go to the office. You don't have to work 9 to 5. But if you actually show up and you work in an energy of productivity and around people who are trying to do stuff and people who are trying to learn, you're going to just naturally soak any of that up. Not even if you don't even have to try, it's just going to happen. And I just think that people need to do more of that. They need to surround themselves. If they want to be successful, they need to surround themselves with like-minded people that they vibe with. I'm sure that's the same way on your team. It's probably what attracted Nicolette to you.
Really, yeah.
Like if Nicolette just came down here and tried to start her own business, like her own design business, it would have been way harder to do. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're
In all fairness,
probably
she did
capable.
come from here. She was in Grants Pass before she left to Portland, so she could have probably done it. But I do feel like it's like the collaborate. I feel like you can have a team of people that all have different strengths, and the collaboration is what kind of is the secret sauce. Like for us, for our team, especially with the creative side, it is one person's opinion, and they think that this should happen, and then pairing that with someone else's opinion, and how all of us see a different vision and how it all comes together is kind of the end piece and why it looks so good at the end.
And I think that's where humility comes in too. It's like having that team mindset and being able to not just see your vision, but see everybody else's too, and take that into account.
And then also know that my vision trumps everyone.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Likewise. Ditto.
Just kidding.
No, it's true. I mean, it's Robin is way more patient. He's a way better listener than I am. Like she was just mentioning, so it's just being around people like that. It helps me, and just being aware of all that stuff. Like I know he can he can connect with some people that I will never be able to connect with because of my strong personality. Not that his personality isn't strong, but it's a lot softer in a good way. So it's not soft like pudgy soft, but
Thanks.
well, maybe that too. But
You're no longer in your prime. 26 was long gone.
Like cashmere soft.
a long time ago.
But the robe, yeah.
That's
All right.
It's very soft.
Yeah, it is.
I know, I'm
I think
pretty
if you
comfy over
wash
here.
it like a few times too, I was gonna say give them to your wives, but then I was like looking at them, I'm like, I think the size works.
Yep.
I think you can own it and wear it.
I think that I don't have to give it to my wife. I think
That's
it's
right.
just going to get taken.
That's what I'm saying.
I know, it probably will. Let's be real. They're pretty comfy.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just walk around on the other stuff and then she'll give it back.
Yeah, that's probably right.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All right. So this is going to be bad timing for a comment like that for me to change this transition this subject. Last question as we wrap this up. I want to know who inspires you and why, because I think to do what you do, you have to have inspiration. And to be as strong as you are as a leader on your own team, there's got to be some inspiration there. So I'd like to hear about that.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of like people in business and I would say like women's rights that inspire me. But truly, I had this podcast that I started listening to during the pandemic. Well, 2 podcasts. One that I love that was just, it's called The Happiness Project, and it's Arthur Brooks, and he's just amazing. And the whole time I was listening to it and listening to it, walking, getting mind over matter, homeschooling 4 kids, and trying to figure out how to, Matt's career was imploding to some degree with the way that the hospitals were. A lot was happening. Mm-hmm. And so I was listening to this podcast, but then I was also listening to another one that was called We Can Do Hard Things, and it's with Glennon Doyle and Abby Wambach. And it reframed my brain. I mean, I don't know how else to say it really. It just gave me a sense of like, you can do anything you put your mind to. I mean, I think a lot of times as a mom with 4 kids, I felt like I was a mom with 4 kids. Oh, I have 4 kids, so therefore I can't work or I can't do this. And it's not that I didn't think I was capable of it. I knew that there was a time in my life when I wanted to be in that role exactly where I was. I knew that I didn't want to do anything else but just be there for my kids and work out, spend 2 hours at the gym, and then go back and be with my kids. And
I could feel that when we were working together.
yeah, I needed
that's
that
all you
time
wanted.
away.
Yeah.
I needed that time away mentally, but then really that was like my focus, and that was where my energy was going, and I loved it, and I wouldn't have done anything else. But there is a time when I've supported my husband in his career for the last like 20 years where I was like, I'm ready for me to like also have something for me and me to use my brain again in a different way, me to also have a different sense of worth than where I'm feeling it now. And so it was hard. I mean, it's challenging to try and figure out how to make that transition, but I definitely feel like there's a lot of strong women and that do it all. And we always kind of think that like there's no way you can't really do it all. Don't really say you can do it all because you can't. You're right. You're going to give up one thing. You're going to be kind of crappier in one area because you have to be. If you're here for this person, then you're not going to be here for your family. But there's also like a lot of growth and beautiful things that come from when my kids see me hustle, when they see me working, and when they see me start a business and do marketing, and all of these things that I'm teaching them how to be bigger than themselves is also important. So even though it takes time away from my house, for sure.
Yeah. That's really cool. What are the 2 podcasts called again? The Happiness Project?
Happiness Project. I think it's called that. The Happiness Project. Arthur Brooks. Look him up.
Okay.
And then the other one is called We Can Do Hard Things. And it's Glennon Doyle who wrote Untamed. And she's just rad. She's just a rad woman for women's rights, period. But awesome. And then her partner, Abby, was a professional soccer player and just started the very first soccer club, all run by women in LA, all funded by women. And their salaries for all the soccer players are on par with every what is it called? I should know soccer because that's my MLS. I'm like, my kids play soccer and I don't even know what the national MLS.
I almost said MLB too, and I'm like, wait, that's
MLB.
baseball. I'm like,
no, that's not the right sport. Don't ask me sports. I'm terrible. Okay. But they are on par with all the top male salaries in soccer.
That's impressive.
I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. I'm like, how rad that women are behind something like that. So honestly, when we started, it was like just getting people together and getting the like community back together just in small doses, just to kind of see that we have this shared meaning. But then bonding with other women, having moms kind of come out of motherhood to kind of step into something that they're passionate about. All of this stuff is really exciting to me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Probably the bigger vision than like the business is awesome too. I love it. I love what we do. But really the internal feel good stuff is what comes from like the other stuff.
Helping women grow and do all this stuff. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Super powerful. Really cool. Yeah. That's awesome. Let's drink to that. Get these marble shot glasses out. I'm just
Done. Where is it? Shoot it up. Come on.
Well, I'm on a little. I'm on a.
Pickup.
I mean, I will definitely give you guys some shots if you want. However, I'm gonna pass this time. So I'm on a little special diet right now. So no alcohol until August.
Yes, till August. That's a really long time.
Yeah. So it's.
That's a liver cleanse right there.
Yeah, I'm not really a big drinker anyway, but it's more the other stuff that I really miss. So
like sugar?
Sugar, yeah, for sure.
Like gluten?
Yeah, that too.
Oh,
yeah.
I just ate like
and dairy.
Babes big. Oh gosh, you're kidding.
Are you like,
I don't even know.
Keto?
What is that?
Paleo?
No.
Nothing. It's none of those because if you're taking out.
It's the Bifano, yeah.
Okay.
It's I'm not eating. It's anorexic. Clearly not.
No, manorexic.
Manorexic. Yeah.
Right.
No, it's no grains, no dairy, no sugar and alcohol until August. And I'm doing a Tough Mudder with some friends in August. And so
you're gonna be
that's
ripped.
what that's for. No, I doubt it. But I'm just trying to be healthier, just, feel better and stuff. And so it's a challenge.
Yeah, that is a challenge.
Who knows? You might go after August.
Yeah.
I started my yoga teacher training and decided I wasn't going to eat any meat, go pescatarian.
Uh-huh.
And 6 years later.
Yeah. You still haven't? Yeah.
Well, I actually, when I got pregnant, all I craved was red meat.
Oh, really?
That's all I ate when I was
crazy.
pregnant. Was red meat.
Oh, isn't that wild?
But I did it. I listened to my body and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. But I hadn't eaten meat in 6 years.
Yeah, I wonder if that was like an iron deficiency.
Yeah. Or something like you were needing something. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'm just doing it just to feel, but I do feel good.
Yeah.
I do feel really good.
That's
and
huge.
I guess it's closer to paleo than it is to anything else.
Yeah, really.
But I still eat like potatoes, and I'm not like I don't like avoid like beans and things like that. But I also I'm not eating like honey or maple syrup or
not even.
What about monk fruit? Can you have that?
I'm not eating any fruit besides berries, actually.
And not even stevia.
Well, monk fruit extract is like a sweetener. Oh boy. Yeah, but no fruit, so no.
Yeah.
No fruit.
Yeah.
No fruit?
No sugar.
Except for berries.
Like even natural sugar. Okay, that sounds like so foreign to me, but I know I need to do something like that.
Well, my problem is that I just indulge, like I just don't stop. So like if I'll go and get like a massive ass fruit bowl from Safeway or something like that, and I'll eat like one of those big ass things that are like $18. It's just like I'll just eat that whole thing. Yeah. And that's not good. It's all sugar to the body. So So I've limited it to berries because they're low glycemic, and they're also insanely expensive in the winter. So I'm less likely to buy a bunch of them. So because I could eat one of those little pints like in a couple of handfuls.
So where's your Tough Mudder at?
In Sonoma.
Oh, fun. So is it your friends from high school or your friends from?
No, it's Lawton LeSueur and then Dan Doyle, who's doing it with me, and then who are two other co-host guests, and then one of our other friends, Matt, that's doing it with us also.
That's rad. How fun.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I asked Robin if he wanted to do it, and he said hell no.
I was just going to ask, is Robin doing it?
Why?
No time?
I feel like you can make time for that.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Tom.
It's probably because he doesn't want to hang out with me and my idiot friends. That's probably what it is.
He
sees you enough.
I wouldn't mind doing it if it was just a run, I think, but I don't know about the obstacle course. Doesn't sound at all fun.
No, that's what sounds fun to me. So.
Yeah. Speaking from a sensei that likes to beat people up for a living.
Yeah. Very cool.
I mean, I would do that.
Yeah.
Beat people up?
Sure.
But no obstacle course.
No. Well, you learned some negotiating tactics from Rebekah today about how roundhouse kicking people or punching people for get what you want.
It does it. It does the job.
Yeah. Well, this has been really cool. I really appreciate this. I'm always surprised, when I bring on people. Like I've known you for such a long time, but when we can actually sit down and have like a cool conversation, this is how people like really connect. And it's a really huge benefit of this podcast, selfishly for me, is that I just get to know people a lot better. And I feel like I'm speaking for myself here, but I feel like we're better friends now just after this conversation. It's just really cool.
That's right, we are.
So
Robin's going to coach me again. He's going to fit me into his private clientele, right?
Oh, you got the voice down.
Yeah. Oh, finally, I had to go closer. No. Dang it. I thought we were that close of friends. Nope. Not happening. Nope.
Yeah.
If I did start teaching, I would definitely let you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, you would.
You might have to pay him as much as a real estate commission. See?
I don't know. I feel like I could make it worth your. I think I could.
I think I could.
I mean, small trailer comparatively, like a month work there, a month work here. Yeah.
Yeah. You have some negotiating to do.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I do. I got this really cool punching bag though, and I know we're ending.
No, it's fine.
Afterwards,
take your time.
Have you seen those interactive punching bags?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Those
so
are super
rad.
cool. Yeah.
So now I get it like it's almost like the Peloton, but for boxing.
Awesome.
And the
Does
bag
it say
itself.
Ow?
What?
It'd be way cooler if it said ow.
I don't know why.
Oh shit! Ow, God.
But it shows you so the sensors are in your gloves, and it shows you on the bag where you need to punch, and then how much your accuracy is,
right.
and how much your speed is, and how much force you have, and so it kind of tracks it, and it shows you in your workouts if you're doing better and if you're doing worse. Problem is I only have 2 workouts that I've done to compare the two.
Yeah.
Where the gloves were working and the TV was working and everything was aligned, so I was actually using it, and so really that's not a good data points.
Let me guess, your force is way off the charts.
I bet. I think so. I have good force.
Compared to I don't know. I think you're pretty
bad.
speedy too, but the accuracy is probably not.
It's terrible. Yeah. That's my life right there. Force is there, my accuracy's not quite. It's right here.
That's awesome, buddy.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'd like to see those. See what that is. I'll have to check that out.
pretty cool.
I'll have to look it up. What's
They're
it called?
pretty neat.
Why am I drawing a blank? I can't think of it off the top of my head.
I have no idea, but I've seen it. It comes up on my Facebook ad
Yes,
all the
it
time.
loves you.
Well,
It's your market.
Now that we're talking about it, it'll show up on my feed also.
Yeah, it will. That's right.
Damn you, Google and Facebook.
Damn you.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, except for Google. I like Google because it's YouTube, and I need all those subscribers I can get. Right?
Yeah, don't talk YouTube.
Yeah, I'm not talking bad about
Wear
YouTube and
masks
Google.
so you get extra Google.
Listen here, Google. You're awesome.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. I think that's a wrap.
Okay.
Sweet.
Thank you so
guys.
much.
That was awesome.
Nice to meet you, Nicolette.
Yeah, you too.
Thank
All right.
you.
Both of you.
Thank you very much.